Hi everybody, and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. This is me with my Friday show, The Emotional Exchanges, a weekly outlook forecast on what's going on with relationships, emotional situations. Maybe they're the primary relationship, or maybe they're just strong relationships. So I do a 2-card pull for each sign of the zodiac, and what I'm looking at is the good vibration in that first card, the kind of pleasant or benevolent thing that's going on that you might feel or is otherwise experienced. And then, of course, the other card is the bad trip, and that is the contrary vibration, so to speak. So I'm going to get started right away, but I thought I would add a little element of something different today by using a one-card collective reading just as an overall tone getter for the week for this reading. And so I'm going to use the Adrian Tarot, which I use often on the live stream. And this will be for the one-card pull as a kind of collective card for us at this time. I'm going to just mix them up, swirly swirl. Just want to get a sense of the collective energy right now. And I think it's that card. And it is the reversed Three of Wands. So I think this card could be saying that in the overall sense emotionally, this may be a time of looking at your plans and realizing maybe you need to retool them in some way, or that in other ways, the kind of situations in relationships of any sort, they may be slowed or delayed. There may be something about pacing, or there may be some reason why maybe things are just not quite connecting. So I'll leave it at that, and we will get on to the regular reading. And I use the Final Rose Tarot, which is a newer deck. It's kind of got a promotional tie-in with a bachelorette show, but it is a beautiful kind of deck. And so what I do with it is and it's beautiful, but I use the images just as a way of working directly with the idea of emotional relationships that we're looking at. Now, as I mentioned, I do the reading from the perspective of the zodiac, going around the zodiac in traditional order from Aries to Pisces. But because each sign has an elemental resonance, air, fire, water, earth, I like to call the zodiac from its appropriate elemental quadrant. And so to do that, I cut the deck 4 times. Air, fire, water, earth. And then, of course, depending on which element the sign I'm reading for resonates, I'll go to that pile. For the good vibration will be the top card, and the bad trip will be the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we start off with Aries, which is a fire sign. Aries has card number 13, Major Arcana 13. And it says, the end. And of course, most regular tarot people know this card as death, but they also know too that it is never the end. So in the way of relationships, this says maybe something has changed dramatically and you are about to start a very new important relationship, either where there has been no relationship or as a result of a end to another relationship. So Aries, the bad trip for this week, taken from the bottom of the deck, and you have another major arcana. You have Justice, number 11, only it's reversed. Says the hot seat. So the bad trip, maybe you will find there's a great deal of difficulty because there's a injustice or imbalance somewhere in the reasoning of what's going on in the relationship, or either the new one perhaps, or maybe it could be saying that this new beginning could be a really bad rebound maybe that has problems, or maybe this is saying, it just kind of hit me in a way, it may be that some of the Aries people may be looking at a divorce. Justice reversed. If it's not the actual legal definition of a divorce, it could just be the idea that this really is talking about a finality in some relationship, a parting. For Aries. And then Taurus, which is an earth sign. Taurus, your good vibration is the 10 of rings. It's upright. It says hometowns. So that's all about foundation kind of things there. It could be about homes and families, but it talks more to the idea of foundations, things that are, security. They're more earth-based because it's not necessarily about great emotional love, but it's sort of about solidarity and connection due to family connection, if that makes sense. Sort of does. So then the bad trip. And I said that was 10 of Pentacles. You have another 10. It's the reversed. No, it isn't reversed. I'm sorry. It's the 10 of Roses, which is the 10 of Wands. It says a shoulder to cry on. Well, I think it's kind of clear that the bad trip is that you may need this safe haven to go to that maybe has no emotional obligations, perhaps, because somebody's really feeling they're beset upon. They're going to really need somebody to cry, and it could very well be yourself. You may need to find this way to shoulder something, to grieve over loss or hardship. And now we're at Gemini, the air sign Gemini. And the good trip is the Lovers, so it looks like there's something really special happening for Geminis. And of course, this is a kind of Gemini card, so I think it's just talking about some rather perfect sense of timing going on in relationships or in choosing to move. So Geminis could really be working towards that angle of really trying to put themselves into the driver's seat or with another person in the driver's seat as a relationship. And then the bad trip is Temperance reversed. Keep it chill. There's some difficulty here, maybe in a vacillation kind of way. It may be that whatever is going on with card one results in such strong emotional back and forth of some sort. You know, the idea maybe of imbalances and emotional, I don't want to say bipolar, but somebody who has some big mood swings. So may not necessarily be yourself, but it may be something that's attached to the idea of the relationship. Like maybe this is a relationship that has that kind of potential to really go back and forth a bit. And water sign, Cancer. And it's the Six of Swords. And it's upright. It's a silver lining. The Six of Swords in this context, I think, says that maybe from a relationship point of view, especially, we're talking more likely than not really strong, mostly primary relationships, we feel we can do better, and we feel that maybe even if we're not physically leaving the relationship, moving away, breaking the relationship, there is a level of where we sort of feel different now. So we sort of feel that even emotionally or whatever, we have moved on in a way. And now maybe we're just waiting for everything else to fall into place. That could be a Cancer, I'll tell you. I only say that because I'm a water sign myself, Scorpio. Now, the bad trip, and it may be connected, it's the reverse Two of Swords. And it says 2 on 1. So as a reverse card, though, I think what it's saying is that the situation really does look like once things were realized for sure, it was time basically to try and move into this new direction. And so it's not so much a bad trip as maybe just a confirmation of the first card in a sense that it was time to move on. All right, fire sign Leo. And Leo has the Eight of Cups upright. And in a way, so it's similar to Cancer. It may be saying now is the time within the confines of a relationship to move on in some ways. It could just be saying too that maybe the relationship now affords you a sense of really moving to another level. This is absolutely appropriate to say that. So it could be saying people in certain relationships are moving to a much more intriguing and or rewarding level perhaps. So that was Leo's good vibration. Leo's bad trip. It's the Hanged Man, number 12, reversed. To be continued, cliffhanger. So it's a reverse cliffhanger, and it could be saying that even though you are moving into something deeper or a different kind of understanding, it's not total in a way, that there's still maybe something that hasn't kind of completed with you. So it could be saying that maybe not all of the emotional feel has kind of reached there. Maybe it's a more physical thing, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's more of an emotional thing and the physical thing has not quite happened yet. So either of those could be a possible bad trip. Virgo. Virgo has the Ten of Cups upright. The proposal. Well, it's the Ten of Cups. And so for Virgos, this is saying really this week seems to fulfill a lot of your dreams or a lot of your ideas about what you think is a wonderful relationship. And it's sort of maybe beyond just a love or romantic relationship. It may be kind of like an epitome thing epitome thing, indicating something larger than a relationship, like maybe when a family is forming too, or maybe when one is really looking at their own tapestry of family. It isn't always about the family that you're making, it's also about the family you're a part of. And then the bad trip. But it says the devil reversed. That's the villain, number 15. And so the devil reversed normally would be maybe a different kind of perspective on what it normally means. So reversed in this context, it could be saying too that your bad trip is that maybe you totally haven't realized everything that's really needed for you. You may still have some bad ideas about what you need, for love or emotional support. And so you may be mistaking, certain things for other things, sex for love or something like that, maybe. Could screw up a relationship, I suppose. All right, so let's see, that was Virgo, so we're on to Libra. And that's the Four of Cups, reflection. Libra, you may feel that you are not quite ready to make certain choices, especially where they come to strong relationships. I imagine this is probably thinking more about your love life than anything. It could be about other things too, but it may be a time of deeper thought about what's going on in your love life, your emotional life. Libra. So then the bad trip, it's the reverse Six of Cups. Six of Flutes here. Butterflies. But it's reversed. Libra, the Six of Cups reversed may be indicating that you're letting past memories and those desires or hopes you feel from them guide this place of reflection, and that may not give you true discernment. So you have to consider what those memories really are. Spend as much time as you need to on this, I think, is the combination of those two cards. Okay, Scorpio, good vibration is 3, the Empress, which they call the Bachelorette. Scorpios, you have a lot of love to give this week. You are out there hoping to help everybody make the connections and make the right choices or the right moves in their relationships. So you're almost like a matchmaker, but don't be fooled. You're probably doing this for yourself too, Scorpio. You're probably thinking maybe, you can get some action too. All right then, the bad trip for Scorpio. It's the Hermit reversed. I don't know if that's a bad trip or not. It says in the moment, ITM, in the moment. Well, it may be saying that, something about this is revealed and that you're not really thought of in that more selfless hermit-like giving mode. Maybe somebody will realize that, of course, you're hoping to gain by your strategy, too, of being, Miss Congeniality and let's help people hook up. Okay, Sagittarius, fire sign Sagittarius. It's the Five of Swords, the Five of Mirrors, the Tattletale. I could put this upright or upside down, and it's just about the same thing. It's bad news, Sagittarians. You may have provoked anger in certain people, or vice versa. It's possible that people have brought out your own anger, and there may be strife between what are normally strong emotional relationships. It may be really bad, I'm wondering. The tattletale could be saying things were revealed and maybe somebody doesn't like the new status quo. So try to be gentle, or try to have others be gentle with you as best as you can, Sagittarians. Now then, the bad trip could only be worse, right? I mean, what's really hopeful about that? That's a no-win situation. That just could be saying maybe you have to try harder not to be the instigator. I'll go with that. So then your bad trip ends up being strength reversed. And it almost does coincide with that tattletale, because strength reverse is saying maybe you've decided you can maybe get your will done by being more of a brat than not, especially in the ways of emotions, that maybe keeping closed up is really the way to go for you, in the sense of having to deal with certain responsibilities of that first card. I'm going to leave it at that. Sagittarians, and then we're going to move on to Capricorn. And Capricorn's good trip is the Four of Pentacles upright. It says possessive, but this is obviously in a good way. Capricorns, it may be that you feel real love today. You feel like somebody's wanting to hold on to you as much as you want to hold on to them. And I think Capricorns, you could be feeling great love for someone or something. It may not necessarily even be romantic love, but it just feels like maybe true value is yours and you just don't want to let that go. Now, what could be that bad trip? And we look here and it's the reversed Ten of Swords. So sometimes that's considered, in the regular plane, not so bad, a reversed Ten of Swords, considering the Ten of Swords. But I'm here to tell you that, of course, a broken heart is still a broken heart. And no matter if it's a cookie or not, the solution isn't as easy as just making it disappear, shoving it away somewhere, your mouth or your stomach, however you want to look at that. The Ten of Swords in this position, I think, as a reversed card, is saying your bad trip is really, you're going to have to face some of these consequences. Maybe they're the consequences of loving too strongly. Maybe somebody really does need to have a little more freedom. So let that cookie get a runaway. They'll be back. All right, so that was Capricorn. So then we move on to Aquarius. And Aquarius, your good trip is the King of Hearts. The King of Cups. That's the King of Flutes in this deck. And Aquarians, I think it says the single dad. So I think that's an interesting idea too. I think this could be saying for Aquarians, you are really feeling a sense of benevolence right now that's transcending the necessities of having a strong romance at this point, or incredibly strong romances if you're in a poly scene, or just even if you're in the dating scene and it's casual, semi-casual. You're feeling a sense of benevolence, in the sense of maybe just sort of letting things be more gentle and go the way they seem to be going, not necessarily having a specific agenda with relationships, Aquarius. And then the bad trip. It's the Chariot reversed. Well, maybe you're having car problems this week, or you don't have a sufficient car for being in the dating scene of whatever real idea that is, but it's the Chariot reversed. And so the first thought sometimes is, oh, the bad trip is you're having some car problems, but it could be saying too, Aquarians, and maybe there's a morale situation going on. You don't feel totally in the driver's seat. And for some Aquarians, it may be a libido thing. So maybe there's some libido issues with Aquarians in this week, and it may be more emotional than anything actually physical, but just sort of giving you a heads up if you're feeling a certain way about, pursuing or being involved in relationships. So finally we come to our last card, Pisces. And we complete the Zodiac. And Pisces has the Knight of Wands, the front runner. That's right. The Knight of Wands, maybe Pisces, you're feeling very confident where you stand in the romance department, or where you stand in the loving family department, or the loving circle of friends department, loving neighbors, workplace, etc. You are just magnifying, Pisces, at this time. There's something special going on in this week for you. I'm not sure why that is, but it must be astrological or something, but you're really very magnetic and compelling to most people, and you want to be there for them. So then what's your final card? Your bad trip. It's the Three of Roses reversed, the Three of Wands, the next destination. And it may be saying that some of this will still have to wait, that maybe you are the front runner, as that first card indicates, but you're being rerouted, and you may have a longer trip, or you may have to do some rescheduling, or you may have to take time for some delays that are going to happen. So that's what I have for the emotional exchanges, and I thank you for coming this week. I hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye.